Hi, and welcome back. We're still working on the Olivetti M300-30/P with the broken motherboard, and we have a substitute motherboard. It turns out it's already the same. If you haven't watched episode 1, please go either on the link in the description or up there somewhere and have a look at that first one so you can know how we ended where we are now. I think it could be important to start there because I will continue obviously from episode 1. This episode is gonna be a little more about trying to get the power supply up and running. Well, it's working, right? We tested it, but the switch, this one down here, is not keeping in. So I had to have a screwdriver or hold it in while we're using the power supply. We had the second power supply. I have already desoldered the switch. So what we are starting on is having a close look at that one. After that, I think I want to see if I can actually boot something on the motherboard. And if there's time, I then eventually want to go back to the broken motherboard and try to see if we can solder stuff if there are broken traces, and then just at least see if the board is working. Let's hope we can get there also. So let's bring the camera closer. So, as I said in the intro, I have desoldered this switch from the power supply that doesn't have a fan. And we're gonna try to open it up. Let me try to see if I can zoom in enough. Yeah, well, maybe. Let me get the extra camera in and let's have a look that way. So if I move it over here, Preh, that's the name. And the model, I think it's called, it's bad lighting, right? There we go. So ME5C. Over there, ME5C. So this is rated for 100 or 250 volts. So yeah, 120 and 250 volts. That must be the two ratings. It looks like this, and obviously these are the connectors that will be linked together. I'm assuming these two and these two. And the issue, let me take this away, the issue is that we need to open it up. So I bent out these tabs. I bent them a little bit, sorry, there we go. I bent them a little bit out so I could take it off. Now there's a spring. We cannot get the spring out before we kind of like open up this one. The issue, the problem, or the challenge, if you like, is this is ripped in. So when this was produced, these were plastic things that were out, and this was being pressed down and ripped in, so heated up. And there's 6 of these, so I think we'll break this one. So I need to take all of this out, all 5, in order for us to open the gray area up. And once that's done, we can have a look inside the switch and see how it works. It works sometimes now and sometimes it doesn't. Right now, at this moment, it won't work. Yeah, whatever. So I will see how to drill this out. These 6. Maybe I can do this. I'm not sure. I don't want to cut my hands, so maybe I should do this off camera in the case I'm cutting my hands with this. So let me briefly do this off camera so you don't see if I cut myself, and then I'll come back and tell you if this is the way to go through. You could maybe also, I know I can't get anything in there, right? Oh, maybe I can. Can I? Let's try. Don't want to break it too much. No, I'm not sure this is the way to go in. I think I need to either drill this out or continue with this on here, because I'm a little bit, maybe let's try. Let's give it a go. Okay, let's give it a go. Does it do anything? Maybe this is the way. I think I'm going, yeah. Okay, let me come back. You don't need to see me struggle with this, so let me just go back. So what I have ended up doing, I did use the blade to get in here this way in and cut them off that way. Sorry, there we go. But I kind of like couldn't get underneath anything here for these, because it seems to be all the way down here. So what I have ended up with this one, and until now this one, you can see my scrape marks. And if I take, these are the bits that are falling out. Can't be using them for anything, but I'm just keeping them. Maybe I will glue them in. So these that are a little bit longer, let me see if I can, this one, this one, and this one up there. So these two, let me find a screwdriver, this one and this one, they came out of there because I cut them underneath there. But for now, and I have gained some skills, so for now, if I use the knife, I can get in on a slight angle and then twirl a little bit around it. You see, I'm really scared about cutting into my finger. So there we go, it broke off. Okay, so now all of these bits are out. Let me store them so we don't lose them. Maybe we should, I'm assuming once we get this open, I need to glue all the way around this, but let's see when we get there. So how much can we now open this up? I think it seems to be, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the connectors, they are staying in. Like this. Or are they? It doesn't say. I'm not sure. Let me push down on them. This is the first time for me. Okay, they're not quite. It's the first time for me doing this, so we'll be doing this together, right? Yeah. It seems that they are like this, so there are hooks this way. So and then it goes here, and this one goes in here. Well, maybe. Yeah, I think that was the thing. Sorry. There we go. So let me try to see if I can get the camera a little bit closer to it, and we'll see if we can look inside it. So if I tilt the camera a little bit further down, and And then I may have to zoom a little bit better in. It's just because I want us to have a look inside it. It's going to be a little bit difficult. So if I put some light on it, sorry. Does this even work? Maybe. Yeah, I think. So, as you can see in there, down in there, there's a contact. And it's also over there. And I'm assuming when I push in on the switch, the white piece, that will flip these two onto this contact, making a contact from there to there. So let me, sadly I have to take away the light. Okay, so let's try to see what happens if I press here. Okay, so you see, I need the, so down here, this piece is then being moved by this groove in the white plastic, like this. Oh, I need to push down on it. There we go, you see? And then it goes back, like this. Very simple. So, there must be something that holds down this white piece, and I'm betting you there's something underneath this area. Yeah, so I think we should take off the white piece, but I need to take off the spring. So let me try and figure that out. And I can lift it up, can I? Yes. And this is the back side. Okay, it all makes sense. And I think it has something to do with this groove here. And this piece down there. This probably, yes, it moves. Yeah. So let's try and see if we can get it out. I lost my tweezers in the move. So, wow, there it is. That's the one. And this is going to be difficult. Let me try and see how this one works. So it was somehow placed like this, and this was placed like this. So if I turn this around, this should be able to somehow glide somewhere here. Sorry, this is very difficult to show as we're so close to. But let me just quickly try to rinse this grease that's down there and just see how that goes. And that's the switch right there. It moves like this. Super simple. So, and this piece is the piece that keeps this from not going back via the grooves. So I think the reason it doesn't work, I'm not sure I can show you. Maybe. I think there needs to be a bump sticking out of this plate. So if I put it down again, I think there needs to be a bump going up on this piece. I think that this is our culprit, I think, but I'm not sure. Let me clean the stuff and let's try and assemble it back and see if it's just because of the grease or whatever it is that's down here. Yeah, maybe it's not just because it doesn't glide correctly. So let me just briefly do that and then I shall come back. Okay, so I took the camera a little bit closer again. I just wanted to explain once and for all this thing. I know it's a little bit difficult to see anything, and no matter how I put the lights, it's so tiny. So it seems that where I'm having the tweezer up there should have been like a peg somehow. That's let me see if I can hold it in another way. It's so tiny, everything is so tiny. There should have been like a peg that moves a little bit out, and that has been weared down. Maybe you can see it there in the center. So in order to make this work, I need to produce another one of these. I don't have a 3D printer that is so awesome that it can produce tiny stuff like this. So for now I will just leave it as it is because I can't produce this one. I will take some measurements of it and maybe take my other camera and zoom in and see if I can make some schematics. So if I succeed in that, I will show you the measurements for everything in the video. If not, it's not gonna be in there, I'm sorry. So that's that one. These are the pegs. It looks like this on this side. And sorry, on the other side it looks like this. It's not easy. Everything is tiny. There's some green crustiness happening, and if I take this away and move this one in, and remember we're super close now, I think I need to zoom in on the camera a little bit better. Can you see the crustiness there? Right there on the end of the peg, like in there. There, the green stuff. That green stuff is also something in there and over here. So I will I'll just rinse all of this down. I don't know what it is. It's a tiny bit disgusting. It's inside. It's like over there. So I will soak this. Let me move back to this camera. So I will soak the things in some IPA, and I will clean it all down. And once I have done all of that, I will just sample it back, and we will have to wait, or I will have to wait until another time when I have access to a 3D printer that can produce this tiny piece. But nevertheless, we managed to get it open with all the bits and pieces. I have the small black things, the ribbons that we cut out, and this that actually is also sorted to the board, the power supply. So I think that's gonna be it regarding this switch. I just wanted to use a few minutes or 10, I don't know how many, on trying to open it, because I always wondered how does this switch look inside. This switch also comes, or is the same that's on a Commodore monitor, and the only difference is these metal pegs that goes to the power supply, the board, and sorted in. It's like this on this model. I think this is why it's called, was it C I can't even remember. It's so tiny, everything. I can't see. It doesn't matter. But I wanted to open it up and investigate, so I have a little bit better understanding of how the switch works, and now I hope you also do. It is fairly easy to open it up. The problem is that these pegs that were cut off when I glue this back, they won't work. So I have to put some glue on the outside of all of this. If I do that, or when I do that, this can never ever be opened again. It's gonna be a struggle to open it up again, because it's then glued back. I don't think I can just push in some glue in the holes. Oh, we need to move it in the holes here. To hold it down. Another thing could also be, if I try to see if I can get all of this back in, it's gonna be fun. They're a little bit all over the place now. Well, that's gonna be fun. So when this is in, I could maybe put a zip tie around this area to hold it in the beginning. So I think that's what I'm gonna be doing. So let me wrap this one up. And I think the next thing is I want to take the motherboard back. I want to have a look at the floppy disk drive. I have already serviced it and cleaned it, obviously. And I want to hook it to the motherboard to see if I can get the motherboard to boot. I also want to have, so this is the floppy disk drive. If we zoom a little bit out, I also want for us to have a look at the hard disk. I think it's a huge hard disk. I think it's like 100 or maybe even more megabytes. It's a Corner CP3544. I just briefly rinsed it a little bit down. Not rinsed it down, brushed it. But this one has been fully serviced. So I think I want to hook all of this up just to see if the board is even booting anything, and I want to see if there's anything on the hard disk. So let me clean up the desk and let's try to have a look at that. Okay, that was that switch. Yeah, sorry. The tiny peg is missing on this slider thing, and we cannot solve that issue at the moment, but I will be back eventually when I have all the dimension and stuff for it, so I can maybe have it 3D printed. And we should be talking about the board. Since the last time I discovered a few things, and some of you have been commenting on the video and asked me to try out a few stuff. Some of you asked about why not try to put in the J29 to see if that does anything with the speed, because you are so good. You noticed that when I turn on the computer, the BIOS only told us 25 megahertz, even though we are putting in the Intel DX2 that should be running at 50. So you suggested put it back in and see if the Jumper 29 does anything. It doesn't. I think I know why. The two boards, the other one is over there, that's the broken one, this is the one that's working, have the BIOS on it. The BIOS is just called PD5D. It's PD5D on this board, PD5D on this board, and this is actually my original computer, so that's the third one. The first I introduced you to a year ago, even more maybe. And within that, it's the same BIOS. It says PD5D, but, yes, there's a but. When I tried to turn on the BIOS with this chip in, which came with this board, it actually tells us that the BIOS version is 1.03. If I take this BIOS that came with the broken board, the BIOS tells us 1.04. So there's a difference between these two. And I had looked into the description of this computer, the Olivetti description, and there are differences between those. For instance, when I take the 1.04, so the latest one, that is the one that will support the DX2 processor, so 03 will not. So I think the first thing we'll do, we'll take this one in here, which is the 1.04, put back in the CPU, hook up a keyboard and a monitor, and then we'll try to see if that now shows up as a 50 megahertz. If not, I know in there that BIOS is 2.0. So we'll just rip this out and plop it in and see if that works. It's a flash ROM, so we can always flash the BIOS version onto a new flash. I will obviously provide all these BIOS dumps on my archive.org for anybody who wants to play around with them. I had a peek inside them. They're not the same. They are different. So I don't understand BIOS coding as BIOS, but they are different. So let me move the camera out and let's focus on the screen and the above camera, and let's hook it up and just see, because I want us to be able to see that this is a 50 megahertz CPU running in here. So I hooked up the board, the slot speakers in, our star, the CPU, the DX2 is also in over here. This is the old one. Let's put the heatsink on it. Keyboard and VGA, and I put up the screen, and if I do like this, I have the three BIOS. I have the 103 and the 104 and the 20. So let's just for the fun, let's put in briefly that BIOS, and I just need to hook up some power. It's over here. The board, and like this. I also have the keyboard up here so that I can see if we get into the BIOS or anything. So let me turn on the computer. The switch is on the power supply, which is over here. There. Turning on. Green light and sound. And if we have a peek at the monitor, it should turn on. And as you can see, the BIOS version is 1.03. It says this is a DX2 running at 25 megahertz. So that's absolutely not giving us the right results. Let me turn it off and let's check out this BIOS version up here. And let's put in number 104. And turn on again and see if there's any difference. I just want to ensure the heat signal's on. There we go. Green light, beeping, and let's get the monitor up and running. And now we're on 1.04 in the top corner, and it's still saying it's an i486 DX2 running at 25 megahertz. So I will turn off the power. I will take the jumper. It's going to be difficult to see, but the jumper 29 on the keyboard over here. This one. That's now off. And I'll turn on again and we'll have a look. And as you can see, it's the same. So it doesn't matter whether or not this jumper is set or not. We already know if I don't set that jumper, this SX CPU here is not going to be disabled, which means it will not work at all. So that has to be there. None of the other jumpers have anything to do with this area over here. So I will now take out this one and try the BIOS I have in my original Olivetti, and that should be 2.0. I need to see if I have the dot up there. And so the crazy part is it's still saying PD5D. I'm not sure if you can see anything. No, it's blurry, so no matter what. So it stays the same, but let me now turn on. Let me put in the jumper. And let's turn on. 3, 2, 1, go. Lights on, sound is on. Let's see on the monitor if anything happens over there. Hooray! As we now can see, the revision is 2.0 and it now recognized the CPU as a 50 megahertz. So these do not work to have the CPU running at 50 megahertz. So the question is, why was that CPU on this board, which is the broken one up here, with the version 0.104, as it clearly doesn't work for 50 megahertz. The board is the same. The only difference between this board and this board is that this chip is the same chip, has been swapped around, so it's over here. And this is in the socket over there. Everything else, I looked very closely, everything else is absolutely the same. And the board, the printed, not the label, but the printed board number is BA366. BA366. Same board. So I do not understand why this DX2 CPU was in here, as it is a 50 megahertz, but it's not showing up as 50 megahertz. Maybe it's still running at 50 megahertz inside and the BIOS just doesn't understand how to show it. That could be one of the things. We'll have to make some tests on that board and see if that is the case. So with this, I'll leave the CPU inside, and with that I will now hook up the floppy disk drive and just see if I can boot into DOS. So I'll find the cable and I will hook that up. Okay, so that's done. Let me just put this down here so I don't shorten anything. I have serviced this one. This is a Panasonic, and the way you always know it's a Panasonic is that when you see there are tiny two screws here that you need to unscrew to get the cover off. I serviced it, cleaned it, and I hope this is now working. I haven't tested anything, so I just located a boot disk. This is Windows 98. I just want to boot into DOS, so it doesn't matter. I can just plop it in, and that should give me stuff, right? Yeah. Let's turn it on. Lights on, beeping. Does it do anything on the floppy disk? It's not seeking, it's not doing anything. Let's wait for the BIOS on the screen to move further down. It's not doing anything. How about... Oh yes! It is! Hold on. Wait. It's seeking, but I don't think it's doing much besides that. So maybe this one is broken. I'm not getting much out of it. It's seeking a few times, so that's not good. Should we try with another disk? Maybe this is broken. Give me a second. I have another disk many of these Windows 95. Still seeking. And there we go. So that is probably broken. So Shift F5 to get out of dust, out of the installation. And then I'm hoping I get a dust prompt. I do. Nice. Let's just go all in and take the floppy disk drive to the side up here. Let's hook up the hard disk. What can happen? Can be fun, right? It turns out that this is actually 500 megabytes hard disk. So it's not a tiny one. But it must be broken because remember, this is completely broken here. You maybe can't see it, but it's trashed up here, it's broken. So I'm not have any hopes at all. I need to find a way to store this very safely. So let me find a bag. It is a little bit precariously. Can you stay there? I think so, right? Let me move it a little bit back. I think that's okay. It can rest on the keyboard. Okay, I know this looks, yeah, but let's go. Let's try. I'm turning on 3, 2, 1, go. It's seeking. The hard disk is seeking. It doesn't seem to have any errors. Let's see. It's complaining that it doesn't have the expansion board in it. So it's not an all passive one. But let's see, it's going for fixed disk drive now. I don't know. 1%. It sees the hard disk. Will it now? It's effing booting. This in Windows 95. This is Italian. And I can't read Italian, but I'm assuming this is just something regarding that the Windows has been closed down unexpectedly and it needs to scan the hard disk. I don't know. Yes, it's the scan disk. Let's just get out of that by going on escape. And then I don't know if this works. I can't read it. But nevertheless, okay, it goes in power off mode. It's working. That is crazy. And I heard the hard disk is actually parking. This is crazy that this hard disk is not damaged because the computer was broken into pieces and the motherboard is broken and the hard disk frame here is also completely broken. So that's crazy. I think I need to dust this a little bit more off because there's dust all over the place. So I'll dust it off and I'll rinse it with a little bit of IPA so it's nice and cute. I don't know what this is. I don't know. So hard disk is working. Floppy disk drive is working. CPU is working. The BIOS, if I have the 2.0, is all working. So everything is working. I have some memory to put in. We need to test the memory. Give me a second. So again, remember we're always talking about everything comes from this computer that's broken, and the RAM also came from that. But let's stick in the RAM. Maybe I should clean them. They're not good. Let me start by cleaning those and then come back once that's done. It's all clean. I shouldn't somehow not be doing this because these clips in the socket for the memory is plastic. So I'm a little bit curious about them. Let me just briefly explain. This is bank 0, this is bank 1, this is bank 2. Remember, they come in pair 4 because this is a 32-bit and we have 8-bit of RAM here, so we need 4 for this to run. Let me start by taking a little bit of deoxide in here. I am fully aware that I am a tiny bit anal when it comes to having everything cleaned, and that's just how it is. I just need to work with stuff that is not dirty and filthy. It makes me calmer. Let's say that, right? So we're just putting everything in. Should we? No, no, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should take it easy and do one at a time. And everything is on. I will just turn it on. I'm not booting. I just want to see if it counts up the memory. Still working here, and hopefully the screen will work also. And it is turning on. So let's see if we get to what, 8 megabytes, because on board it's 4. I'm assuming this is 4 megabytes also. Well, let's see. Does it continue? It does. There we go. 8 megabytes. 4 plus 4. Let's shut it down. Let's move in the rest. It's so fragile. The memory sockets. That should be it, right? Let's turn it on again. We're still getting beep tones, so it's good. Well, that didn't go good, right? So we're back on 4. So what happened? Why is this? Is one of them not put in correctly? This is not fun, because now I need to be careful lifting these out. It seems to be in now, so yeah, we'll have to try again. So let me just cut to where the computer is showing how much memory we have in now. It's not making any errors. So this time we are continuing counting, so that is a good sound. We are reaching this, and now we passed through it, so we are over here now. So maybe there's 12 megabytes of RAM. Perfect. I want to put in the expansion board. So let me just clean that one up. Just want to see that the computer boots without any errors. It's now complaining that this board is not present. There we go. I'm going to put some deoxide in it. Let's try. Turning on. It seems to go through everything. It passes. It sees the card, so we're all good. So we have another success. So all in all, this computer with the floppy disk drive and the hard disk, the memory, the expansion card, the CPU, let me try and feel, it's not even warm. It's not even warm. Everything's working. So we can now close this project and say that we have something to build a computer out of that will be running as it should be. So this is gonna be an Olivetti, sorry, this way of course. This is gonna be an Olivetti, where is it? There. Olivetti M300-30/P. Good. I will say we have a success. We have now a complete motherboard that works as it is supposed to be doing. We needed to change the flash BIOS in order for the visually to see that this is a 50 megahertz. That's nice. I know I promised you that we maybe will be able to look at the other board. Sorry, it's been 50 minutes or something like that, so I'm gonna cut it here. The status is that it's up and running and everything seems to be working, even the hard disk and the floppy disk drive. So what is left is just to build this into a computer. I haven't cleaned the actual casing yet. It doesn't matter. I'll do that and then this computer is done. There's one thing I would like to try next time when I bring back the other board, because I want to try to see if we can solder some of the connection that may be broken, just to see if it works, just for fun. So at that time, when I'm back with that, I also have another CPU. This is an Intel 46 DX2 running at 66 megahertz. I'm not aware if this can go in there. I have no clue. I haven't tested it. If anybody think it would work, we could try it then also. I'm not sure if the BIOS has that capacity to show it at least, but we'll do that on the final and third episode. I also want to run some tests so we can benchmark the actual CPU. We'll try to benchmark it compared with the SX that's on board, with the Intel 46 DX, which is running at 25 megahertz, and then compared to the DX2 running at 50 megahertz. And if this 60 megahertz is also running, we'll take that also and compare that. But that's going to be next time. I'm sorry, the microphone, the power once again went out. So in the end of this video, the sound came from the up above camera. So I'm sorry for that. But there we go. I'm happy this is working, and I hope you enjoyed this. The goal for this was actually to try to, for me, obviously to get this BIOS up and running, but also to investigate this power switch to see what is needed for this to work. And I pulled it apart. I hope this was very informative for anybody else who has the same power switch. It's all over the place. It's in most of the Commodore monitors, or Mega monitors, and now we know how it looks inside, and we also know now exactly what is wrong. It was the tiny piece, black piece that is supposed to be going forward and backwards when you punch in on the actual power button, and it needs to lock in, and on top, let's assume that's the one, on top there needs to be like a pile that goes up, which then actually goes down into this white thing that I showed you in the beginning. So I need to produce one of those. I don't have a 3D printer that can produce something like that. I will find all the dimensions and I will write them down, and so that maybe other people can do this. I'm not sure, but I will eventually also go back to that power switch with the dimensions, see if I can 3D print it and make it happen, because on both the power supplies that switch is not working, and I have a few of these casings with the same power supply in it, so it's just a matter of time when all of the other ones will be broken. So I need to make that happen, so I'll also come back with that. The ROM BIOS for this, all three of them, they are on my archive.org. I think that's it, what I want to say. Besides, thank you very much for all your response with good suggestions about what could be wrong. I hope this was informative once again, and I'll be back soon. See you.